I think if you ask anyone, they'll tell you that I was a dreamer and I always thought big and dreamt of big things and winning big championships. Deep down I always believed that I would get there one day.
March the 4th, 2012, the day when Rory Mcilroy officially became the best golfer on the planet. It was the start of a remarkable record-breaking year, which would rival any in the history of the sport. Major championship success, multiple victories, and millions of pounds of prize money. But it was a year not without controversy.
First on the tee, representing Europe.
This is the story of Rory being number one.
Well done.
They said we came to entertain, and so we set up shop and live life like we all got.
Rory Mcilroy is one of the most sought-after sportsmen in the world.
It's been a very transitional period in my life in terms of, getting used to the extra attention, the extra scrutiny. It's something that I've had to deal with, and it probably took me a little bit of time to adjust to, but I feel like I've adjusted to it now, and it's sort of my normality these days.
Meeting
the president at the White House, it's sort of just become what my life is. There's so many great new experiences, and I wouldn't change it for the world. I mean, I'd love to be able to spend a few days and be anonymous, but that doesn't quite happen.
It takes a lot of hard work and dedication to be number one.
It's a great position to be in. I feel like this is where I've always wanted to be. I've always wanted to be one of the names at the the top of golf, and I've got to that point now, which is great, and I can't really dwell on it in any way. I just have to keep looking forward and keep trying to improve and keep trying to win big tournaments.
His girlfriend is Danish tennis star Caroline Wozniacki.
We're just two normal, a 23 and a 22-year-old, and having fun together, enjoying each other's company, and we don't get to see as much of each other as we'd like. Obviously our names are going to pop up in the media every now and again, but I don't think that bothers us.
Rory has been dating Caroline for over a year and a half. Their busy schedules mean careful planning and plenty of global travel if they're to spend time together. But for one of sport's golden couples, the air miles are worth it to watch each other play.
It's definitely a lot of effort, you want to make it work, and we are very happy, and things are working out very well. And for me, I think it's great that we both have our own careers, so not one is just waiting at home for the other one. I know what he's going through, and when he plays amazing, I know how he feels. I know also when you go into a rough path, how that feels and how to handle the situation. So definitely you can learn a lot from each other, and I think you can improve a lot on your game as well, in that way, because you can learn from one another.
As I said, if I play well again tomorrow, hopefully we can get a chance to do it at the weekend.
Any more questions? The young lady at the back, her face seems a bit familiar, but I can't quite place her.
You obviously have unbelievable support this week, so if you win this week, am I going to get a really nice Christmas present, and what am I going to get?
Yeah, it's great. I've got my parents here. Have you not already got a lot of nice presents? No? I have been looking. But yeah, I don't think it won't take winning this week to buy you a nice present. I think you'll get a nice present anyway.
Well, that must be because I'm an unbelievable cheerleader.
You're a better tennis player.
Thank you.
It's great that he's doing so well, and the dreams he's had since he started playing are coming true. it's just amazing to see that the hard work pays off.
A professional golfer's season revolves around the 4 major championships. The first one every year is the US Masters at the exclusive Augusta National Club. In 2011, Rory led the tournament after 3 days, before a now infamous final round collapse cost him victory. In 2012, he again finds himself high up the leaderboard, but his challenge quickly fades. Despite becoming the 2nd youngest player ever to rise to world #1, Rory isn't able to capitalise on his brilliant start to the season. At successive tournaments, he struggles, and by his own admission, he's taken his eye off the ball.
I was down. I got into a couple of swing faults, a couple of problems, and I actually had to work very hard to get out of them, harder than I'd ever worked before in my swing, to try and get back on track. Even in that period, there was still a couple of decent results. I mean, I know there was the missed cuts in there, but I still felt like there was signs of good golf, and I just had to be patient and wait for it to turn around. And I was actually going to the US Open in pretty good spirits.
San Francisco is the venue for the 2nd major championship of the season. Rory is the reigning US Open champion after a record-breaking victory the year before. He's brought some of his friends from back home. And before the golf gets underway, Rory is guest of honour at a Major League Baseball game.
Everybody just have a good time. Yeah. Welcome to San Francisco.
Thank you very much.
Did you hit the balls today or no? A little bit?
Golf balls?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was up there.
Okay.
Yeah. Not baseball. You must hit it miles, do you?
I can hit it.
Yeah, I'm sure. Tell me to go this way. There you go, the 2 seed. Yeah.
As Rory's star status grows in America, he's been invited to throw the ceremonial opening pitch.
The defending US Open champion, Rory Mcilroy.
The US Open is a sellout. Tens of thousands of golf fans are at the Olympic Club to see if Rory can defend his title.
Thank you.
But he arrives against a backdrop of media criticism and claims that his dedication levels have dropped. Rory admits he's still trying to find the right balance between golf and his private life.
The more eyes that are on you, the more scrutiny you're going to come under, and of course you're going to get criticism here and there, and people are going to be telling you how to fix your game and what you should do to put it right, but you just can't really take notice of it all, and you just got to concentrate on what you can do, and listen to the people around you that you trust, and trust that you have enough know-how and enough ability to be able to get through the bad patches. Trying to be the best golfer I can be, but at the same time, not letting that take over my life. I want to still try and keep somewhat of a normal life and, do the things that any other 23-year-old would do. So we have a house full of 6 fellas, so it's good crack. It's nice to have them around because they're just really, taking everything in and enjoying it, and they don't get to see what my normal day is like all the time. They just sort of know me from back home. So
is that good for you as well to have them?
Yeah, it is. It's great. It's a great. I walked back into the house yesterday, and they're all in the back garden in the jacuzzi, chilling, having a few beers. I was like, I wish I could join you boys.
But Rory again struggles to find his form and his rhythm. He misses the halfway cut, his 4th in 5 tournaments. It's a high-profile fall from grace, and it would be easy to hide. But Rory doesn't shy away and faces our cameras with typical honesty.
It is obviously very disappointing, but it's not the way I wanted this tournament to go. Obviously, at least wanted to be here for the weekend. That was the goal going out this morning, just to try and make it through to the last 2 days. I don't feel like my game's that far away.
Rory's dip in form has prompted him to make a change. He appoints the man who knows his game better than anyone to travel and work with him full time.
Hold on there, Rory, to that left hand.
Rory has been coached by Michael Bannon since he was a child. As charted by this previously unseen McIlroy family home video.
When I first saw Rory, he was ahead of his time, really. When he played with his peers, he was so far ahead of them. At 10 years of age, he played like a 15 or a 16-year-old. But he always had that jauntiness in his step, and it was great to see him walk up the fairways. It was like tunnel vision. But he just loved the game and loved to get out and practice. His mum and dad never pushed him out to practice. It was the other way around. Rory had to pull them out on a cold Sunday evening there when the snow was on the ground at Blackwood driving range, and he wanted to practice. He would practice, he would play, he would practice on the course, maybe when he wasn't allowed at Hollywood. He just practiced it late into the night. The strike that he gets on the golf ball hasn't changed. Well, it's got faster and faster as he's got older and stronger. But when you look at the core of the swing, it's still there. You can recognise it from old videos and even to today.
Nice job, Rory.
People ask me, what do you do when you're coaching Rory? He says, I look at everything. We generally don't have to talk about everything. We don't fix everything, but we check everything. We have a good relationship together. If I see something, I'll say to him. If he feels uncomfortable, say, Michael, we need to fix this, and we'll do it together.
Another change was coming in Rory's life. This is the house just outside Belfast, which he hoped would be his permanent residence. But in the summer, he puts it up for sale. It's a 14-acre site with its own purpose-built practice golf course. Rory's busy global schedule means he's now rarely able to be in Northern Ireland. But he does insist on making one special flying visit back home. Hollywood Golf Club is where it all began for Rory. And he wants to help raise money for its young players.
You see the junior section here at the club, and it's huge. I mean, you care in the summer holidays, and the place is just filled with kids, which is great to see. Before going out for a round of golf, especially, depending on what golf course it is, I'm trying to visualise the holes that I'm going to play and what shots I might need out there for that day.
One of my memories is Rory sort of coming into my shop. He'd lift up a scorecard, he'd be filling it out, and at the top he'd have the British Open, and he'd put his name in then, and he'd fill out this remarkable score, about 8 or 9 under, sign the bottom of it, and then the markers column he'd sign Tiger Woods.
I used to spend every spare minute I had here, in the summer holidays. I'd be up here from 7:30 in the morning until 10 at night, basically. I'd play 54 holes a day, and it's just what I did. Yeah, stand down and through it.
Oh! He's a big inspiration to us all, and it's good to see what he's working on at the moment and what kind of shots he's trying to hit. Learn a few things.
Rory Mcilroy is a massive inspiration, probably the way Tiger Woods was a lot of years ago in American golf. I mean, if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have so many juvenile members.
Take the heel in, go sound.
So good having him here. I really want to be like him. It's just a dream to be like him, I think. If I hopefully could be.
Hollywood's had a pretty good history of producing good players, and hopefully me, being from here, might inspire a few others coming up, and hopefully what I'm doing for the club can benefit them in some way and become better players.
Rory prepares for the crucial second half of his season. Caroline's with him in Northern Ireland to witness McIlroy mania as Royal Portrush stages the country's biggest tournament in 60 years, the Irish Open. Rory also shows an improvement in form at the spectacular venue. But things still don't quite click at the third major of the season, the Open Championship at Royal Lytham in St Anne's. The Open is traditionally one of the biggest events in the world's sporting calendar, but in 2012 it and everything else is eclipsed as the Olympics come to London. For Rory, it's role reversal when he experiences the Danish media circus that accompanies his girlfriend. He's visiting Caroline, who's competing in the Games. But Rory makes some controversial Olympic headlines of his own after unguarded comments to a journalist. A newspaper claims Rory wants to compete for Team GB and not Team Ireland at the next Olympics in Brazil.
It's just a moment of, I don't want to say weakness, but a moment of, I guess, frustration with it all, and just saying, right, let's... and it's tough because people tune in and watch me play on TV and they feel like they're connected to me in some way, and I don't want to repay them for their support by doing something that they wouldn't want me to do. So I just think being from where we're from, we're just placed in a very difficult position. There's been sports people before me that have been put in that same position before. I mean, if I could and there was a Northern Irish team, I'd play for Northern Ireland. I feel Northern Irish, and obviously being from Northern Ireland, you have a connection to both. You have a connection to Ireland, and you have a connection to the to the UK, and it's a tough one. I mean, I haven't made a decision. It's still 4 years away, and whatever decision I make, it's whether that's play for Ireland, play for Britain, not play at all maybe, just because I don't want to upset too many people.
Is that genuinely an option? You might not play because you think it may upset people at home?
Yeah, for sure, it's definitely an option. I've got 3 options. I either play for one side or the other, I don't play. they're the 3 options that I have, and 3 options that I'm still considering very carefully. When I do make a decision, it's going to be one that I've thought long and hard about, and one that I feel comfortable with.
On the night the Olympics come to a spectacular close, Rory is back making golfing headlines on the other side of the world.
When he looks at a target with those eyes, he's so focused. There's something special about the way he just looks at the pin.
Through 8, a 4-shot lead.
Now the last 9 begins for championship leader McIlroy.
He wins the final major of the year, the USPGA Championship at Kiawah Island.
6-shot lead.
I don't think we predicted that on this golf course, the severity of this golf course, that we were going to have a runaway winner.
Could you miss one, maybe, just to make us feel better?
Not going to do it. Now you're going to like this one. This is for the all-time margin of victory in PGA Championship history. To break Nicklaus's record of 7. Can it be? Yes! The new ruler of the game of golf is Rory Mcilroy.
My honor and privilege to present to you the Wanamaker Trophy as the 2012 PGA champion.
Rory rewrites the record books once again.
There was a few things written about me in the media during that time where I wasn't playing so well, and people were very quick to write me off after a couple of bad tournaments. But getting criticism, especially criticism that you feel is unfair, definitely spurs you on, motivates you just to, I guess, to prove everyone wrong. But I knew if I stayed patient that it would all turn around, and I sort of went in with nothing to lose. I just wanted to go out and enjoy it, and I sort of had a bit of a change in attitude as well. Those bad weeks were sort of getting me down a little bit. I was getting hard on myself, and I had a change of attitude. I just wanted to go out and enjoy it. Playing golf for a living is what I've always wanted to do. It was my dream, and I'm living my dream. So there's no point in not enjoying it. You got to enjoy yourself out there, and that's what I started to try and do.
The major success sparks the start of a remarkable winning streak. 3 weeks later in Boston, Rory clinches his third tournament victory of the season. The Deutsche Bank Championship, another trophy secure, and another $1.5 million prize.
Rory, straight ahead.
And there was more to come in Indiana. Rory wins the BMW Championship. A second title in 7 days, his third in 4 events, and yet another $1 million in the bank. So to the final tournament of the American golfing season. All the top players are in Atlanta for the FedEx Cup playoff. There's an incredible first prize of $10 million. Rory arrives in pole position after his sensational run of form. But on this occasion, he has to settle for the runners-up spot. Still, he's done enough to win the US money list and be crowned the best player of the year. There's also a bonus of yet another $3 million.
I never played golf for the money or gain wealth from it. I just played it because I loved it and I wanted to win tournaments. And you know, it just so happens that there's a lot of money in golf these days, and I'm very fortunate to be able to play it for a living and obviously make such a great living from it.
But none on offer next week, of course.
No, and probably more important than any of this.
The Ryder Cup is the biannual meeting between Europe and America. There's only a famous trophy and pride at stake. The Medina Club in Chicago is the venue, and Rory prepares to spearhead the European Challenge. As world number one, there are reminders everywhere of his importance to the team. Rory lives up to his star billing on day one, winning his opening match. And he adds to the drama on day two.
His timing might just be perfect.
But Rory's timing is far from perfect on the final day as Europe trail America. With only minutes to go until his match with the USA's informed player Keegan Bradley, Rory is nowhere to be seen.
I thought my tee time was 12:25 and not 11:25, so from the start I was an hour late. Caroline was in Beijing, so I got up and I called her, and I was on Skype to her for maybe an hour. I was hung up with her with maybe like an hour and 45 to go before my tee time, so I was perfect. Hop in the shower, get dressed, sort of get my stuff together.
Well, no one's seen him or heard him all morning, trying to work out what's happened to him. I think even at one point we thought he might have been kidnapped. It was, heard of the US win the Ryder Cup, we'll get rid of our best player, but we're calling his mobile and it's gone straight to voicemail.
Trying to get through to him, I couldn't, and I asked one of the girls to go up to his room with 40 minutes to go.
I got a phone call with my manager, Connor Ridge. He said to me, "Are you at the golf course?" I went, "No, I'm not. I'm just leaving my hotel room." He's like, "Rory, you've got, you're teeing off in 25 minutes." I'm like, "No, I'm not. I'm teeing off in an hour and 25 minutes." And he's like, "No, seriously, you're at the course. You're winding me up here." I'm like, "I'm not. I'm leaving the hotel right now." Luckily, they had a state trooper waiting for me downstairs, and we were able to bypass most of the traffic. It was the most worried and most nervous and most panicked I've ever been going to the golf course. If not any warm-up or any sort of preparations.
So I said to him, "Look, I have food in the bag and nobody will know, come into the locker room." I said, "Just hang in the first 6 holes. Keegan is running around the first tee 2 hours beforehand, so he'll burn himself out."
Morning. The smiles and the laughs and stuff, they were for show. They were, inside I was so panicked and I was so nervous.
Another chapter in the book. Come on, Captain Rourke, get a job done tonight, brother. Come on.
But you know, I thought the only thing for me to do here is not to show Keegan how worried I am.
Rory's pulse may be racing, but he quickly shows why he's the world's best player.
And break. Hello, hello, hello.
Luckily, I was able to somehow win the point for Europe and not feel like I was responsible for Europe's loss of the Ryder Cup.
Hey, bud. Good job, buddy. Well done, mate.
Rory helped Europe to the most remarkable comeback in Ryder Cup history. Everybody makes sure he doesn't forget his late arrival.
Yes!
Amazing that happened, and amazing that he got there 11 minutes before his tee times and went out there and won his game. He's the legend grows.
Rory's busy schedule continues. A week after the Ryder Cup, he arrives in Turkey with Caroline to play in an invitational event. There's massive hype around the tournament, which is being billed as a shootout between Rory and the man who's dominated world golf for over a decade, Tiger Woods.
It is like a dream come true. You know, I said, you know, playing alongside him and getting to compete against him. You know, I always had a putt on the putting green at Hollywood to, you know, beat Tiger in the British Open or to beat Tiger at the Masters or whatever it was, and you know, to be able to go toe to toe with him, hopefully for the next few years, is an exciting prospect.
You guys get in yesterday, or?
Rory is set to go head-to-head with Tiger for the very first time. Despite the blossoming friendship, their box office rivalry is set to define golf over the coming years.
I think the first time I ever played with him was at Abu Dhabi in a practice round, so it's certainly, our friendship has certainly grown from there. But the more time you're out here, the more time you're able to build in a relationship, especially when you get paired with them a lot. You know, some guys you never see, and other guys you seem to get paired up with every other week you play. Winning golf tournaments take care of that. It takes care of all the awards, Player of the Year, money, title, and world rankings. You know, he won quite a few tournaments, and he won a big one, won the major championship. Hence, he's #1 player in the world.
In his real dominance, you know, the early 2000s, I mean, you know, he worked harder than anyone else, and he was more dedicated to the game than anyone else, and that's why, you know, he had the results that he did. I'm not sure if I'll ever get to the stage that he got to, but, you know, I'd like to think that I'll still be able to play, you know, some really good golf like I've shown, you know, the last couple of years, and keep this run going.
Two weeks later, Rory and Tiger are again the headline act. This time in the Far East. For sponsors, they're the dream ticket. And if Rory's to stay at the top, the message from Tiger is simple.
Thanks, Tiger. Hey, enjoyed it. Thank you.
Well, it's delegation of time. Certainly time management skills are a must. The reason why I got there is because I practiced my ass off, and he's done the same. Media, other requests, and blah, blah, blah. It starts taking its time away from your preparation. So, you know, he's done a pretty good job of it. I mean, he went through a spell this year where he didn't play well, and he went back home and just practiced. And lo and behold, he turned it around.
Please welcome at 11 under par from Northern Ireland, world #1, Rory Mcilroy.
Rory's year draws to a close in Dubai. He's already become the second golfer ever to top the money lists on both sides of the Atlantic. But for good measure, this putt secures a victory in the last event of the European Tour season.
I wanted to just finish off the season in style. 2012 has been a great season for me, and I thought it would be a shame to come here and just play and sort of let the season end timidly in a way. So I wanted to finish it with a bang, and I was able to do that. I played some of the best golf I've played in a while out there.
Thank you, Mike.
Well done. Congratulations.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Well done. Well played. Nice finish.
Yeah, I needed it.
You can see that there's a lot of people out there on the course watching him all the time, and it's fun to play in front of a big crowd, but I think he stayed the same throughout the whole time, so that's the most important thing.
It really has been a day to remember.
5 years as a pro, that was my 10th win. 2 majors, world number 1. I mean, I didn't expect. I always had dreams and I had aspirations to get to this point. I never thought that I could get there so quickly. But it's been an incredible journey. I've had a lot of support, obviously support from back home in Northern Ireland, my mum and dad, my friends, my family. And it's great to share these moments with them too. Every goal that I set myself this year, I was able to achieve.
Your accreditation.
I got to world number 1.
I should get paid for this.
I won another major. I won 5 times around the world. I won the race to Dubai.
Caroline.
I guess more majors is the big thing for me. I've got 2 already, and I'd love to make that 3 or 4 next year. So that's the big goal going into next year. Try and obviously keep the world number 1 ranking and try and keep it for as long as possible. But ultimately try and get myself in the best possible shape for the majors.
In 2012, Rory Mcilroy ascended to the top of the golfing world. The question now being asked is, how big can he become?
He's unequivocally number 1, and deservedly so. His golf is of a standard that very few other people can match, and for Northern Ireland to have the number 1 ranked player on the planet is a huge privilege for us, and he's only going to keep getting better and better.
I think he's really important to the world of golf wherever he goes. He conducts himself so magnificently when he plays. We're very lucky to have him. But I think Rory gives an awful lot back. He doesn't just play brilliantly. He's a great young man.
Despite the success, Rory Mcilroy is still regarded as the boy from Hollywood.
Is this not for Dad?
Now aged 23, he's about to sign a deal reportedly worth around $250 million with sports manufacturer Nike. But what remains important for Rory is always staying true to his roots.
Looking back at videos like that, getting my first mobile phone.
A mobile phone? Oh my God, thanks.
I know that I've come a very long way in a short space of time, and I definitely feel like it's very beneficial to look back and look back at how hard my mum and dad worked to give me this opportunity, and I think it's very important to keep things like that in perspective.
Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes.
I'll always view Northern Ireland as home. My mum and dad are still there. I miss things like going to Ravenhill on a Friday night, or just going and hanging out with the boys, or playing 5-a-side a couple nights a week or whatever it is. But that's just not my life anymore, and that's the way it is, and I'm very happy with my life now, and I wouldn't change it for the world.